So here's what's up in the AI right now. Personal brand. Because right now, AI has made everyone sound the same. Same tools, same outputs, same 10 best LinkedIn prompts to use for your LinkedIn posts. But the problem is if you don't have a personal brand right now, you're kind of invisible. So yeah, and I guess invisible people don't get paid. So we're going to tackle this today. James, what's your stance on this?
It's all the same generative bullshit, which sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's crazy actually. As we keep going forward with AI, we're putting more AI content out there, which is training the AI to sound like AI.
Mhm.
And now it's so easy to go to Claude or ChatGPT and say, create me a post. And most people don't know how to prompt properly, so they are literally just letting AI do its thing. So we're all just sounding the same. We're all sounding like robots. And having a personal brand strategy is actually about breaking that pattern, wanting to sound like yourself. And it's going to become incredibly important moving forward, to have some sort of voice, a unique voice, a podcast, an Instagram account, something where you're expressing yourself as a human being, because all of the text stuff, all of the faceless stuff like that just all sounds the same now.
Agreed. They have a term for it. What is it? AI slop. Is that what it's called?
Quite possibly. Sounds about right.
Yeah. And I think it's really relevant. I don't think it's a new problem. I think AI has exacerbated or accentuated this issue because obviously now it's enabled us to create content at volume and at scale, which people weren't really able to do on their own without teams. So I think that's exacerbated where we're at right now. And many conversations that I've heard talking on this topic talk to, again, we're utilizing technology to be able to scale and grow, but the human connection is the most important thing. And how you deliver that is critical to building your personal brand, because ultimately you want people to trust you and you probably want to make something out of that personal brand. Whether it's selling a product, a service, or whatever it is, it's commercializing something that you're doing about yourself. And yeah, without that human connection, people just won't do it. People won't buy.
Yeah, 100%. And it's such a fine line, right? Because one of the biggest problems here is that influencers, for instance, are saying, get my top 10 hooks, top 50 hooks, and you can download them, and they're all the same.
Yeah.
They're the same, though, because there's an element of human psychology here. There is these buttons that an influencer or creator can press to get someone's attention. So if we know that these work, then suddenly we're going to use them over and over again.
Yeah.
And then AI is picking it up. So AI is just spouting out the same old bullshit over and over again. We need to find a way to use this, but also have our own identity. Does it make sense?
Yeah. And I have a question on this. I think it's something that I've thought about too, because I have been very tempted, even in the very recent future, of buying these marketing playbooks, which do come with, they're packed up and follow this step by step. And as you say, this is what you use and this is what you say and this is how you say it. Very tempting to do that. And then I look at the people that are selling it to me and think, well, you kind of already got the big presence. Okay. So does that discount me? So if I say this, let's say coming from a place where I've got very few followers or I'm just starting out, I've got no credibility yet, is it going to work for me? And that's the question that I have. And that's the thing that always stops me from going ahead with this. What do you think about that? How important do you think it is having that presence before you get going?
Well, you've got to start somewhere, right? I don't think there is a chicken and egg question that. In terms of buying these marketing playbooks, I mean, they're okay to get you started. But the truth is those people that do it really, really well, like my nephew. So he's on LinkedIn. He's got about 150, 160,000 followers, or he did last time I checked. And he created a platform, Clio. This platform looks into other creators so that you can kind of sort it, what's working for what industry. But if you look at his posts, they are not the same as the ones that he's researching. What he is doing is he's finding those hooks and then he's applying it to his own story. He's working out the trends between what's working from post to post, video to video, carousel to carousel. And it's the strategic part that most people are missing, that the AI misses, right? So the people that do really, really well, they don't just go, oh, this is a hook, I'm going to completely reuse it. They don't just go, here's the video, I'm going to put myself in exactly the same situation with exactly the same backdrop. They go, right, what made this video good? What made this video resonate? So if I was starting over, which ironically I am starting over, because I see the value in having a personal brand. So I'm looking at Instagram now. I've got a half decent LinkedIn that I want to grow. Obviously, we're doing this podcast. I'm looking at, right, so I'm talking about AI and I'm talking to this ICP of people that want to hear about, the stuff that we're talking about. And I'm looking at what resonates with them. What are the buttons that I can press that other creators have pressed that have gained their attention? What are the hooks that I can say? How can I deliver that in a way that's unique to me or unique to us in this podcast?
Yeah, 100%. It also connects me to something around talking about the authenticity and that human connection between you, ultimately the person that they're connecting to, because you're really looking to find people who are like you, who think and act like you, who have similar values as you. That makes your life easier as the creator because you're attracting the right people and not mimicking somebody else's content and somebody else's hooks, which is probably going to get you the wrong people, which is going to cause you probably more headaches in the long, because you're going to give up because you're thinking, well, who are all these people? They're not buying from me. I don't really connect with them. So I like that. So what are the tips that you can give people? Okay, so now you're thinking about this. What are the tips you can give people to do this well, do this right, or where to start?
I mean, I'm very early on in my own journey with this respect, so can't tell people what I've done that's won or winning for me right now. But in terms of the strategies that I'm looking at, I think having a clear brand identity, having your core pillars is important. What that does is it gives you consistency. So I think it was Hormozy that said, there's certain people on YouTube and on other platforms that he follows, and he does so because he knows what he's going to get from them every single time he looks at a piece of content. He kind of wants that reminder of what they're selling or what they're pitching. So if it's productivity, he goes to somebody like, I don't know, Dan Martell, that's going to say, value your time.
Yep.
Buy back your time. Like that's his whole premise. It's his book. It's his identity. So you know what you're getting. So that consistency is absolutely critical. The other thing is it's about knowing your audience, right? We've done quite a lot of work, you and I, about highlighting who our ICP is for this podcast.
Yeah.
We're making sure that we are always talking to the right person.
Yeah.
And, when you don't have this consistency, when you just go to AI and go, give me this, give me that, and you don't give it the context of who's talking, what you're trying to get, what's your outcome, what's their desired outcome, then suddenly you're just getting inconsistent slop, as you called it. And so one episode might be really good for one persona of person, then the next one, just doesn't resonate. And that's not going to teach people to keep coming back to your podcast or keep coming back to your YouTube channel or subscribe. Most people don't subscribe to your YouTube on the very first video. It's usually they're going to do one. They go, wow, that's interesting. I'm going to go have a look at another. Unless they're blown out of the water with the first video. Most people want to see, okay, I'm actually getting something consistently positive out of this.
Yeah, I get that. And I think it's important that, as in our own experience, starting now is the best time to start. And
yesterday was the best time to start. Now's the second best time to start.
Okay, you got me there. So 100% that. And then it's not that you're going to get it right immediately. It's like it's going to be imperfect, but consistency and volume is absolutely key so that you start to build up what you think might interest people or what you think might resonate and click might not. And the things that you are kind of like, well, that doesn't sound like any good. could
Mm.
work, so it's just about being open and willing to just put things out there and then really spend some time analyzing it and working out, okay, that metric, those metrics are really showing positive. Let's do more of that and see where that goes.
Mm.
Iterate on that and
Yep.
just experiment and be open to doing it and not giving up early. Like, keep going. It might not take, I could never give you a timeline of how long it could take. Some people, weeks, maybe months. But it's really important that you just keep going, really, because it will get there eventually. It's just a case of keep going.
That's it. That's the key to winning the entrepreneurial game in general. You're going to get knocked down.
Mhm.
It's, are you going to get back up? I think there's a stat. On average, an entrepreneur doesn't become successful for about 10 years, and usually in that time they've gone bust. They've had a few companies go bust. Like,
Yeah.
it's resilience that's probably the biggest trait that a successful entrepreneur has.
Yeah. Yep. I'm big on resilience. That's good. So there are some things which I know that you, because of your experience in teaching others, this is not new to you necessarily. I think you do yourself a disservice that you've got a lot of experience. So, for example, let me just tap into one of the things I know you talk on frequently that you have created, which is the power of one, right? So
Mm.
how can that apply? Because I think that's really good. Like, this applies perfectly to personal brand, right? So how would you teach others to use the power of one in this context?
I wish I could say I created the power of one.
I have said you did, so now you have. I've knighted you with that honor.
That's another one of Hormozi's golden nuggets, if I'm being honest.
Okay,
And being as we're not about the bullshit here, like,
fair
got to be
enough.
honest, right?
Okay.
But I mean, I've applied it with clients, multiple successful strategies,
Yeah.
and that is, you're solving one problem for one target ICP.
Yeah.
You have one very clear solution, one very clear offer, and you market it on one platform.
Yeah.
This is the way to start. And in a lot of cases, when companies have hit a ceiling, the thing that they try to do is diversify, when the truth of the matter is they probably just need to break through and do more of what works.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I've seen it all over the internet. I've seen it with clients. I've seen it with partners. Like, when they do this, when they focus, when they are laser focused,
Yeah.
you become the person. You're talking to your ICP. That ICP is looking for one very specific solution. If you're talking about 10 different solutions, that person's going to go, are you really the person for me? But when you go focused, like I do AI transformations for traditional businesses, those traditional businesses come and they know exactly what they're getting.
Mm. Yep. It's I'm thinking again back to like personal it's so that process of, one problem, one persona, one platform.
Mm.
It helped me tremendously because when we're starting this, and as you know, I have had a great aversion to social media. And if anyone
Mm.
wanted to go and have a look and dig, you'll see that there's been a vast amount of time where I've just been void on, and
Mm.
I've seen if I could do anything in life without having to have like this big presence on social media or, influence, let's say that. And I
Yeah.
feel like I even came into this and I had the same mindset, like I wanted to do it, find another way. Oh, I want to find another way. I don't want to do this, please.
Yeah.
Because I was scared. I didn't want to put myself out there and all many things that people share and relate to. But it comes down to it that this is actually the best way. And it's also kind of fun, actually. Once you get going, you start making the content. But that one problem, one persona, one platform, specifically the one platform, really helps when you're getting going and you're
Yeah.
getting over that initial like, okay, here we go. I'm going to go do this. So, it just helps as well because you're not going to have your minds thinking about TikTok, Instagram, Facebook and lose the passion because it's all too much and you're not getting the results. And
Yeah.
yeah, so, and the last thing I'll say on it, because I've not reached it yet, but I'm looking forward to it, is I hear consistently from others who have achieved, um, strong followings, that when you start to get that negative response, then you're doing it right.
Mm.
Then you know you're onto something. And it's
Yeah.
actually not a negative thing whatsoever. It's just that people care enough now to actually say something, whether they agree or disagree. It's good. So don't get
Yeah.
disappointed if that happens. I'm looking forward to getting my first troll. Mm.
The other thing I'd like to mention on this, when you come back to how to differentiate yourself, there's a tactic that in business that's worked incredibly well and works very well for personal brand as well. That is storytelling. So I've used storytelling for years to sell. I've sold high ticket. I've had clients in my development agency, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And what they want to know is that you've got some lived experience. When you can explain, relate your life
Mm,
to something that they're wanting you to do for them,
mm,
the likelihood of you converting is way, way higher. And that's the same when you're in front of camera. If you can tell a story that resonates with a good portion of your ICP, then
mm.
they're much more likely to click subscribe and come back. So an example of this is my work that I've done in the disability sector. So I landed one of my biggest clients, did probably my first lot of AI transformations, as well as launching a mega health app over here in Australia for this client. And I did so because I've got lived experience. My son has a disability.
Yeah.
So when I went there to pitch for the job, we spent more time talking about my son and kind of the services that they offer beyond what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And we resonated. And then at the end, it was kind of a bit more of like an off the cuff. Okay, so what are the commercials here? Because we kind of already made the decision that we wanted to work together. And I've done that a lot of times on a one-on-one level, but personal brand is just about doing it one to many.
Good advice. I think there are some other practical tips that we could add that I know that we're following. And you can use AI. Okay, so we're talking about AI creating a lot of slop. Okay.
Mm,
But AI has a great function here to support anyone that wants to start creating content en masse as well. Like a lot of tools out there that they can use to support themselves. And as well as that, there are ways in which you can create content to make life easier for yourself. So blocking out time, doing long form content, like longer videos,
mm,
find your top 3 kind of content pillars or themes that you want to talk on and then create content in, like
yeah,
we talked about, interviewing yourself to camera. Like it doesn't
yeah,
have to be expensive, it doesn't have to be flashy or huge production. Like you can do these things and then take that and break that down into smaller bite-sized videos that you can then use as reels and shorts,
yeah.
things like that. There are ways in which you can make this easy for yourself, right?
100%. And
Mm.
and I think we need to think about what AI is best at, right? I don't think AI should be coming up with the full script from scratch. But AI is fantastic at cutting down content. So
Yeah.
anyone can jump into this.
Yeah.
We're on Riverside right now. The AI tools that Riverside offer are absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, I think just though, you've just got to think when you're doing your strategy, when you're working that through, and you can use AI as a way to bounce ideas off, or a thing to bounce ideas off.
Yeah.
But you've just got to remember that people buy from people. Like when you have done something that's purely AI created, AI driven, it lacks that emotion. It doesn't matter whether it's conscious or subconscious. The
Mhm.
person behind the screen is not going to feel it. And so it might make all of the sense in the world because it's based on a shitload of other examples that have worked, but there won't be that affiliation with the other person. And
Yeah.
so that's what you've got to look at. You can use AI to come up with a load of hooks, but how do you make those hooks relate to the story that you're going to tell? Because the
Yeah.
story, your story, that's what you want to get across on camera.
Mhm.
That's what we're doing here in this podcast.
Yeah, that's it. And just keep going. You'll get better at it if you lack confidence in it.
Yeah.
Um, and the one other thing that I think is quite worth mentioning, because again, it's something that I consistently struggle with, is um, to support you when you're creating this content, you're creating for a purpose. And that purpose could be one of many things. It could be to join a community of creating, or it could be a program or a course that you're doing,
Mm,
to hop on a call with you and have a discovery call, whatever that is for you, but make it have a purpose and not be
yeah.
afraid to ask. Like, put it there, like, make it clear of what you want them to do next after they've
Yeah.
watched or listened to you. You're serving them, right? What is it that you say? Sales is serving, selling is serving.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So have the confidence to do that, because it's also going to help you in the long run. measure what works, what doesn't work, and get you the outcome that you want.
Yeah, so true. So true. I think all in all, those that aren't looking at getting a personal brand right now, especially now with AI, they're making a huge, huge mistake. We've seen the shift from corporate pages, like even the biggest entrepreneurs, they're not pitching their corporate accounts. They're making personalized brands, and
Yeah,
and we're seeing 20-year-olds that started doing this when they're 18, making hundreds of thousands of dollars per month,
yeah,
because they created an audience and now they can sell to them. And with tools like School
yeah,
opening up a community and being able to funnel your audience into there to pay low ticket,
yeah,
it's insane. Like, it doesn't work for somebody who doesn't have an audience. But if you've already got an audience of 50, 100,000,
yeah,
you want to funnel a portion of those into School and get them to pay $10, $20. It doesn't sound a lot when you've only got, 50 people in there. But if you've got 1,000 people, you've got tens of thousands of people, and that's a huge amount of money on a monthly basis.
yeah, 100%. And I think I listened to this in a conference. They were talking about this and personal brand and using social media to do such, um, that the rags to riches story has kind of been told. And we were talking about this the other day, weren't we? Now it's like rags to riches,
Mm,
rags to riches, rags to riches. It's like the more hardship you've had, the more like, convincing you can be. But actually, they say the going on the journey with you. So like you may not be that millionaire entrepreneur yet, or seven-figure business yet. Actually, people are now really wanting to relate to people closer to where they are right now and
mm.
go on the journey with them and learn with them. And that's much more exciting and engaging and like just interesting for people. And I think I don't know. I think it just cuts through some of we've had a lot of, I've made it big and I'm going to teach you how. Like it works for some people, but I think, don't discount yourself if you're not where you think you want to be yet before you start doing this. Start now and take people on that journey with you because people
Yeah.
will come and that will create this real community and following that I think that you would really want rather than just the people who like the shiny objects, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. I think a business mentor of mine told me long ago that the key to getting any success is to bring people along on the journey.
Mm,
In this sense, he was actually talking about bringing his staff along on the journey because he was having aspirational ideas. But it's about in that sense, it was about making them feel as though either they had the idea themselves or they were part of the creation of the idea. But it's the same with customers. Like I've lived experience with that. If they feel as though, well, actually, in this sense, if they feel as though you're amplifying their journey, then that's incredibly effective because it's their journey. Like selling is all about them, and I think that's the same with socials. You make it about them, not about you.
yeah, 100%. So if we were to summarize this, we would say, okay, AI is out there making things cheaper, faster, more scalable, but ultimately, you as the human is the most important thing at the center of that. And your face and your story and bringing people on that journey with you is going to get you where you want to go.
More so than ever before. Yeah, there's too much generative bullshit. Even with avatars, even the avatars that look absolutely seamless, they're
Yeah.
lacking the emotion behind the eyes. You can see it. You're not looking into their eyes and going, okay, I get you. It's just information. It's no emotion.
Totally, yeah. Um, so where so we have some ways in which we can help you if you're interested. So James, what are the things that where can we direct people to get some help if they want some help in creating their personal brand?
I think the best place for us is just to join the community because we're all on the same journey, as you mentioned before.
Yeah.
We might be a few runs forward on the ladder from a listener now, but 100% there are people in our community that are in exactly the same place. Like I've been teaching people how to grow their LinkedIn now for 6 months.
Mm.
I was doing it very much on a lead generation standpoint, but we've also had quite a lot of success getting engagement on posts and just generally speaking to the right people. It's all about conversations in the end. So yeah, have a conversation in our community, talk to people that are in the same place. And yeah, it'd be fantastic.
Yeah, and drop a DM to James and I and say hi. We'd love to hear from you.
And we recently renamed our community to Make Money with AI. We wanted it to be very obvious what our community was about.
Yeah, but without the sleazy, like we were a bit worried. We had a few thoughts about that before, but we realized that when we talk to people, ultimately, they're all looking to create some kind of freedom, right? Financial freedom,
Yeah.
and yeah, the way you can
That's
do
how we
that.
that's how we see it, right? Money is the key to unlock freedom. And right now, the biggest opportunity, this is a generational opportunity, if not more. This might be an opportunity that we never see again. Like AI is going to change everything.
Mm,
So, I mean, I don't know about anyone else, but I want to be on the forefront. I want to be taking as much of the opportunity here as I can, because who knows what it will be like in 2 years, 3 years. Like we talked about AI lacking the emotion. That's how it stands now. It's probably going to be the same for a year, maybe two, but
mm,
it won't be forever. Like at some point, like AI will be so good that you just won't be able to tell. So at that point, all bets are off. Right here, right now is the time to take action, whether it's about building your personal brand, jumping into a community like ours, working out how you can leverage this to make money. Like now is the time.
yeah, and I think adding to opportunity for me, because adding to opportunity, it's like I want to be in a position where I have choices. Like I think the future right now for many of us, all of us, is very uncertain. For the first time in a very long time, if not all of history, we
Mm,
have a clear outlook on what the next few years is going to be like, let alone the next 10, 20, 30, right? So
mm,
we want to make sure that I think I'm speaking to you, the person here, is we want to make sure that you're in the position where you have the greatest amount of choices at
mm,
in your hands, because it's not
mm.
going to be fun if you're there without them. And it's going to be, yeah, you're having to play catch up, and how things are moving, the pace of things right now, it's going to be really difficult to get back to the front of the wave.
Yep, 100%. Perfect way to end the session, I reckon.
Perfect. Yeah.